The forest is still asleep when the first light of morning appears above the hills. A soft golden glow slowly spreads across the sky, and the cool night begins to welcome a brand new day. Fresh air moves gently through the tall trees. Every leaf catches the morning light, and tiny drops of dew sparkle like little crystals on the grass. The forest feels calm, peaceful, and full of quiet beauty. Somewhere in the distance, a small stream flows over smooth stones. Its gentle sound fills the silent forest like a peaceful song that never ends. High above the trees, a few birds begin to sing as they greet the rising sun. Deep inside this quiet forest, beneath the roots of a great old oak tree, there is a small and cozy home. It is simple, warm, and surrounded by soft green moss, colorful wildflowers, and fallen leaves. This little home belongs to a young hedgehog. The little hedgehog is still sleeping peacefully. His tiny body is curled into a soft round ball, and his small nose moves slightly every time he takes a slow breath. He feels safe inside his comfortable home. As the sunlight becomes brighter, a warm ray quietly reaches the entrance. Little by little, the golden light fills the tiny room. The little hedgehog slowly opens his eyes. For a few moments, he does not move at all. Instead, he listens carefully to the sounds outside. He hears birds singing from the treetops. He hears leaves gently dancing in the morning breeze. He hears the distant stream flowing through the forest. Every sound feels familiar. Every sound reminds him that another peaceful day has begun. With a gentle stretch, he slowly stands up and steps outside. The cool grass feels soft beneath his tiny feet, and the fresh morning air fills his lungs with every deep breath. He smiles without saying a word. There is something special about the early morning. The world feels quiet before everyone becomes busy. Even the forest seems to move more slowly during these peaceful hours. The little hedgehog looks around with curious eyes. A butterfly rests on a nearby flower, waiting for the warmth of the sun. Tiny spiders have woven delicate webs between the branches, and each web shines with hundreds of sparkling drops of dew. The little hedgehog stops for a moment to admire them. He has seen spider webs many times before, yet they always look different. Every morning creates a new masterpiece. A gentle breeze passes through the trees. The branches begin to sway together, creating soft patterns of light and shadow on the forest floor. The little hedgehog quietly watches the dancing leaves above his head. He never feels lonely in the forest. The birds, the flowers, the trees, and even the gentle wind are part of his everyday life. They do not speak with words, but they always make him feel welcome. He begins his morning walk along a narrow path covered with dry leaves. The forest smells fresh after the cool night, and every step brings a new little discovery. A bright red ladybug slowly climbs across a green leaf. Tiny white mushrooms hide beside an old tree stump. A family of ants carries small pieces of food back to their home, working together without stopping. The little hedgehog watches each one with quiet admiration. He knows that every living thing has its own journey. Some creatures fly high above the trees, some swim in clear water, some run across the forest floor, and some, like him, simply enjoy walking slowly and noticing the beauty that others often miss. The morning sun continues to rise, filling the forest with warm golden light. The little hedgehog takes one more deep breath. Today feels peaceful. Today feels hopeful. And somewhere beyond the tall trees, another gentle adventure is waiting to begin. The little hedgehog follows the narrow path as it gently winds through the forest. He has walked this way many times before, but every morning brings something new to discover. The sunlight shines more brightly now, reaching deeper into the forest than it did a few moments ago. Long golden beams slip through the branches, creating beautiful patterns on the ground. The little hedgehog pauses for a moment to watch the dancing light. Whenever the wind moves the leaves, the patches of sunlight quietly change their shape. It feels as if the forest is painting a new picture every second. He continues walking at his usual pace. He has never enjoyed rushing because he believes that beautiful things are easier to find when someone walks slowly. As he passes a group of wildflowers, a gentle butterfly rises into the air. Its wings are bright orange with tiny black dots, and they move so lightly that they almost seem to float instead of fly. The butterfly circles around the flowers once before disappearing into the warm morning light. The little hedgehog smiles as he watches it leave. Not far away, a small family of rabbits is eating fresh grass in a sunny clearing. Their long ears move whenever they hear a new sound, but they do not seem frightened. The forest is peaceful this morning, and every animal feels safe. The little hedgehog quietly walks past them without making a sound. He does not want to disturb their peaceful breakfast. Soon, he reaches an old fallen log covered with soft green moss. Tiny mushrooms grow along its side, and small insects explore every corner of the old wood. The log has been resting here for many years. Although the tree is no longer standing, it continues to give life to many small creatures. The little hedgehog gently touches the moss with one tiny paw. It feels cool. It feels soft. It feels like a green blanket made by nature. He smiles once again. Everything in the forest has a purpose. Even an old tree can become a home for someone else. As he continues his journey, he hears a cheerful tapping sound coming from above. A woodpecker is busy pecking at the trunk of a tall tree. The steady rhythm echoes through the quiet forest. Tap, tap, tap. The little hedgehog looks up with curious eyes. The bird works patiently without stopping. Every creature has something important to do. The little hedgehog admires the woodpecker's hard work before continuing his walk. A cool breeze suddenly carries the sweet smell of pine trees through the forest. The fresh scent reminds him of how much he loves his home. He closes his eyes for a brief moment and takes a slow, deep breath. There is nothing more relaxing than the smell of the forest in the early morning. The path begins to slope gently downward. The sound of flowing water becomes clearer with every step. The little stream is not far away now. The little hedgehog feels excited, although he keeps the same slow and peaceful pace. He knows that there is no reason to hurry. The stream has been waiting there all morning. It will still be waiting when he arrives. With a happy heart, the little hedgehog follows the sound of the water, ready to discover another beautiful moment in his peaceful forest. The gentle sound of flowing water grows louder with every step. Before long, the little hedgehog arrives at a clear stream that winds quietly through the heart of the forest. The water is so clean that he can see every smooth stone resting at the bottom. Tiny fish swim peacefully between the rocks, and the sunlight makes the surface sparkle like hundreds of tiny diamonds. The little hedgehog walks closer to the edge of the stream. He carefully looks at his reflection in the water before a soft breeze creates gentle ripples across the surface. In only a few seconds, his reflection disappears and becomes part of the moving water. He watches the ripples with quiet curiosity. Nothing in nature stays exactly the same. The clouds move across the sky. The leaves dance with the wind. The water continues its endless journey. Everything changes, yet everything feels peaceful. A small leaf slowly falls from a nearby tree and lands softly on the stream. Instead of sinking, it begins to float away with the gentle current. The little hedgehog follows it with his eyes. The tiny leaf never tries to fight the water. It simply allows the stream to carry it wherever the journey leads. The little hedgehog smiles. Sometimes life becomes easier when we stop trying to control every little thing. He sits down on a large, warm rock beside the stream. The stone has been warmed by the morning sunshine, making it the perfect place to rest for a while. He listens carefully. The stream sings its quiet song. The birds answer from the trees. The wind whispers through the branches. Every sound blends together in perfect harmony. The little hedgehog closes his eyes. For a few peaceful moments, he simply breathes. He feels the cool air on his face. He hears the gentle water. He smells the fresh earth and the green moss growing near the stream. Every breath makes him feel lighter than before. Nearby, a bright blue dragonfly lands on a tall blade of grass. Its transparent wings sparkle whenever they catch the sunlight. After resting for a moment, it lifts into the air and glides gracefully above the water. The little hedgehog watches until it disappears behind the reeds. A tiny frog suddenly jumps from one stone to another. Splash! Small circles spread across the water. The fish swim away for just a moment before quietly returning. Soon, the stream becomes calm again, as if nothing had happened. The little hedgehog laughs softly. Even the smallest splash cannot disturb the peaceful heart of the forest for very long. Time passes slowly beside the stream. The sun climbs higher into the bright blue sky, and the cool morning begins to turn into a warm afternoon. The little hedgehog stands up and stretches his little legs. Before leaving, he takes one last look at the clear water. The stream continues to flow without stopping, day after day, season after season. It never rushes, yet it always reaches where it needs to go. The little hedgehog quietly thanks the beautiful stream for another peaceful moment. Then, with a happy heart and gentle steps, he continues his journey deeper into the forest, wondering what quiet surprise the afternoon might bring. After leaving the little stream behind, the hedgehog continued walking through the forest. His steps were slow and relaxed, and he enjoyed the peaceful silence that surrounded him. The path gradually became brighter as the trees grew farther apart. Warm sunlight poured through the open space ahead, inviting him to discover what was waiting there. Soon he arrived at a beautiful meadow. The grass was fresh and soft, moving gently whenever the wind passed by. Colorful wildflowers covered the ground like a natural blanket. White daisies, purple violets, and tiny yellow buttercups bloomed together, filling the air with a sweet and gentle fragrance. The little hedgehog stopped for a moment. Every time he visited this meadow, it looked a little different. Some flowers had just begun to bloom, while others had already opened their petals wide to welcome the warm afternoon sun. A pair of butterflies floated peacefully from flower to flower. They never seemed to hurry. Instead, they allowed the gentle breeze to carry them wherever it wished. The little hedgehog smiled as he watched them. Sometimes, the most beautiful journeys were the slowest ones. He carefully walked through the meadow, making sure not to step on any flowers. Tiny bees buzzed softly as they collected nectar, moving from one blossom to another with quiet determination. The hedgehog admired their patience. Every small creature had its own purpose. Some gathered food, some built homes, some spread seeds across the forest. Together, they helped the forest remain healthy and beautiful. Near the middle of the meadow stood a large flat stone warmed by the afternoon sun. The little hedgehog climbed onto it and sat down. From there, he could see almost the entire meadow stretching before him. The flowers swayed like gentle waves. The butterflies danced through the air. The bees continued their careful work. Above everything, white clouds drifted slowly across the blue sky. The little hedgehog lay down on the warm stone and looked up. He enjoyed watching the clouds change their shapes. One cloud looked like a sleeping rabbit. Another looked like a sailing boat. A larger one reminded him of a great mountain covered with snow. Of course, he knew they were only clouds. Still, imagining different shapes always made him smile. The afternoon breeze became slightly warmer. It carried the sweet scent of flowers and fresh grass across the meadow. The little hedgehog closed his eyes for a few peaceful moments. He listened carefully. He could hear the gentle buzzing of bees. He could hear birds singing somewhere beyond the trees. He could even hear the soft whisper of the wind moving through the tall grass. The whole meadow seemed to breathe together. When he opened his eyes again, he noticed several tiny white seeds floating through the air. They drifted slowly without any hurry, dancing wherever the breeze carried them. The little hedgehog quietly followed them with his eyes until they disappeared into the bright afternoon sky. He thought they looked like little travelers beginning a brand new adventure. With a grateful heart, he climbed down from the warm stone. The afternoon was still young, and the forest was waiting to show him even more quiet wonders. With a gentle smile, the little hedgehog continued his peaceful journey along the winding forest path. As the little hedgehog left the sunny meadow behind, the forest slowly became quieter once again. Tall trees surrounded the narrow path, and their branches stretched high above him like gentle arms protecting the woodland. The afternoon sunlight filtered through the leaves, creating soft golden circles on the ground. Every step felt calm and unhurried, and the little hedgehog enjoyed the peaceful rhythm of his walk. Before long, he arrived at the oldest tree in the forest. It was a magnificent oak tree with a wide trunk and countless strong branches. No one knew exactly how old it was, but every animal in the forest seemed to respect its quiet presence. The little hedgehog had visited this tree many times since he was very young. Whenever he felt tired or simply wanted to rest, he always found himself returning to this special place. The great oak tree never moved, it never spoke, yet somehow it always made him feel welcome. Its enormous branches provided cool shade on warm afternoons, while its thick roots created comfortable places where small animals could safely rest. The little hedgehog sat beside one of the large roots and leaned back comfortably. Above him, thousands of green leaves whispered together whenever the wind gently passed through them. Their soft sound reminded him of waves rolling onto a quiet beach. Nearby, a squirrel carefully carried a large acorn between its tiny paws. It stopped for a moment, looked around, and then hurried toward its nest high in the tree. The little hedgehog watched with a gentle smile. The squirrel was already preparing for the coming seasons. Although the warm days of summer were still here, it was quietly getting ready for autumn and winter. Nature always seemed to know when it was time to prepare. The little hedgehog looked around the forest. Nothing appeared to be in a hurry. Yet everything was exactly where it needed to be. The flowers continued to bloom. The birds continued to sing. The trees continued to grow. The stream continued to flow, without rushing, without worrying. The forest simply trusted time. The little hedgehog liked that thought. Sometimes people worry because they want everything to happen immediately, but the forest had a different lesson. Seeds needed time before becoming flowers. Tiny birds needed time before they could fly. Young trees needed many years before they became strong enough to give shade. Beautiful things were never rushed. They quietly grew one small step at a time. A gentle breeze carried a single oak leaf down from the branches above. It floated slowly through the air before landing softly beside the little hedgehog. He carefully picked it up. Its edges had just begun to turn golden. Summer would not last forever. Soon, the forest would wear different colors. The little hedgehog smiled. Every season had its own beauty. Every ending quietly became the beginning of something new. He placed the leaf gently back on the ground. The wind carried it a little farther before letting it rest among the grass. The afternoon light slowly became softer. Long shadows stretched across the forest floor. The little hedgehog stood up, brushed a few leaves from his fur, and looked up at the great old oak tree one more time. Without saying a single word, he quietly thanked the tree for its gentle shade, its peaceful silence, and the quiet lessons it shared every day. Then, with a warm heart and slow, steady steps, he continued deeper into the forest, where another peaceful adventure was waiting just beyond the trees. The little hedgehog continued walking along the quiet forest path. As he left the old oak tree behind, the forest became even calmer than before. The air was cool beneath the tall trees, and the afternoon sunlight gently filtered through the branches. Although the day was slowly passing, the forest did not seem tired. It simply changed its rhythm. The cheerful songs of the morning birds became softer, while the whisper of the wind grew a little clearer. The little hedgehog enjoyed listening to these gentle changes. Every hour in the forest had its own special beauty. After walking for a while, he found a small clearing surrounded by young maple trees. Soft green moss covered the ground, making it look like a comfortable carpet. A fallen log rested nearby, and colorful mushrooms grew along its side. Ferns stretched their delicate leaves toward the sunlight, and tiny blue flowers quietly bloomed between the rocks. The little hedgehog smiled. This place felt peaceful. It felt like the forest had prepared a quiet room where anyone could rest. He slowly lay down on the soft moss. It was cool and comfortable beneath him. Above his head, the leaves moved gently whenever the breeze passed through the trees. He watched them for several quiet moments. Sometimes they moved together. Sometimes only a single branch danced in the wind. Nothing in the forest tried to be perfect, yet everything looked beautiful. As he rested, a small robin landed on a nearby branch. The little bird tilted its head and looked around with bright, curious eyes. For a moment, it remained perfectly still. Then it began to sing. Its song was clear, gentle, and full of happiness. The little hedgehog closed his eyes and listened carefully. The bird was not singing for anyone in particular. It simply sang because it was a beautiful afternoon. That thought made him smile. Perhaps joy did not always need a reason. Perhaps happiness could simply exist, just like birdsong floating through the trees. A gentle breeze carried a few maple leaves across the clearing. They twirled slowly through the air before settling quietly on the soft moss. The little hedgehog watched them without moving. There was no need to hurry. There was nowhere else he needed to be. For this quiet moment, simply resting was enough. The warm afternoon slowly drifted toward evening. The sunlight became softer, and long shadows stretched across the clearing. Far away, the little hedgehog heard the familiar sound of the stream once again. Somewhere deeper in the forest, another bird answered the robin's gentle song. The whole forest seemed to be speaking in its own quiet language. Although he could not understand every sound, he felt that he understood the forest. It was teaching him something simple. Slow down, look around, breathe deeply, enjoy this moment. The little hedgehog took one long, peaceful breath. When he opened his eyes, he felt lighter than before. His body was well rested, and his heart felt calm. With a grateful smile, he stood up and gently brushed a few leaves from his soft fur. The evening was slowly beginning, and the forest was preparing for another beautiful sunset. The little hedgehog smiled toward the winding path ahead. He knew that every step would bring another quiet wonder, waiting patiently to be discovered. As the little hedgehog continued his journey, the afternoon slowly began to fade. The sunlight was no longer bright and warm as it had been a few hours earlier. Instead, it became softer, covering the forest with a peaceful golden glow. The little hedgehog noticed the gentle change almost immediately. The forest looked different in the evening. The colors became deeper. The shadows became longer. Even the air felt calmer than before. He walked along the familiar path without any hurry. The dry leaves beneath his feet made a quiet, gentle sound with every step. Some leaves had already begun to turn shades of gold and orange, reminding him that autumn would soon arrive. Every season visited the forest in its own time. None of them ever arrived too early. None of them stayed forever. The little hedgehog thought that this was one of nature's greatest lessons. Everything has its own season. Everything has its own time. As he continued walking, he reached a small hill that overlooked the forest. It was one of his favorite places. From there, he could see the tops of countless trees stretching far into the distance. The evening sunlight rested gently on their leaves, making the entire forest glow like a sea of gold. The little hedgehog quietly sat down. He loved watching the sunset. Every sunset was different. Some evenings were painted with soft pink clouds. Some were filled with bright orange light. Today, the sky was glowing with shades of gold, peach, and pale purple. The colors slowly blended together, becoming more beautiful every minute. A cool breeze gently brushed against his face. It carried the comforting scent of pine trees and fresh earth. Somewhere nearby, the sweet fragrance of wildflowers still lingered in the evening air. The little hedgehog closed his eyes for a moment. He listened carefully. The forest sounded different now. The busy bees had returned to their homes. Many birds had already finished their songs for the day. Only a few gentle voices could still be heard among the trees. the quietness did not feel lonely. Instead, it felt warm and peaceful, like a soft blanket covering the entire forest. The little hedgehog smiled. He realized that silence could also be beautiful. Sometimes the quietest moments became the ones he remembered the longest. As the sun slowly moved closer to the horizon, the golden light began to fade. The sky turned a deeper shade of blue. One tiny star appeared above the trees, then another. Before long, several stars were quietly shining in the evening sky. The little hedgehog looked up with wonder. Every evening, the stars returned without making a sound. They never asked for attention. They simply shone. Perhaps kindness could be like that too, he thought. Quiet, gentle, always there, even when no one noticed. The little hedgehog stood up slowly. The evening was becoming cooler, and the forest was preparing for night. As he walked down the hill, he noticed tiny lights beginning to appear among the bushes. One small light, then another, and another. A gentle smile appeared on his face. The first fireflies had awakened. The most magical part of the evening was about to begin. As the last golden light faded beyond the hills, the forest quietly welcomed the evening. The sky became a deep shade of blue, and a gentle moon slowly rose above the tall trees. Its soft silver light spread across the forest, touching every leaf, every flower, and every winding path. The little hedgehog walked slowly beneath the moonlight. The forest felt different now. It was quieter than before, but it was still full of life. The daytime birds had gone to sleep. Now, the gentle voices of crickets filled the cool evening air. Their peaceful song blended with the whisper of the wind, creating a melody that only the night could sing. Tiny lights floated quietly between the bushes. The fireflies had fully awakened. They drifted through the forest like tiny golden stars. Some flew close to the ground. Others floated high among the branches. Their lights appeared and disappeared so gently that the whole forest seemed to breathe with them. The little hedgehog stopped walking. He watched the glowing lights with quiet wonder. Every summer evening, the fireflies returned to the forest. Yet they always felt magical. They reminded him that even the smallest light could brighten the darkest night. A tiny firefly landed gently on a leaf beside him. Its little light glowed softly for a few moments before it quietly flew away again. The little hedgehog smiled. Beautiful things often stayed only for a short time. That was one reason they felt so precious. He continued walking toward his little home beneath the old oak tree. The familiar path looked different under the moonlight. The stones shone softly. The leaves sparkled with silver light. Even the shadows looked gentle instead of dark. Nothing in the forest seemed frightening. Everything felt peaceful. Everything felt safe. As he walked, he remembered all the beautiful moments of the day. The sparkling morning dew, the singing birds, the clear little stream, the sunny meadow, the wise old oak tree, the quiet place covered with soft moss, the golden evening sky. And now, the gentle fireflies lighting his way home, he realized that happiness was not one big moment. It was many small moments, quietly gathered together. A warm breeze gently touched his face. The little hedgehog closed his eyes for just one deep breath. His heart was full of gratitude. He was thankful for the forest. He was thankful for another peaceful day. And he was thankful for having a place that always felt like home. At last, he reached the little house beneath the great oak tree. A few wildflowers rested quietly near the entrance. The soft moss around the doorway glowed under the moonlight. The little hedgehog stepped inside. His cozy little home felt warm and familiar. Before curling into a comfortable ball, he looked outside one last time. The moon watched quietly over the sleeping forest. The stars filled the sky with gentle light. Far away, the fireflies continued their silent dance among the trees. The little hedgehog smiled one final time. He closed his eyes. Soon he was fast asleep. Outside, the peaceful forest whispered its gentle lullaby beneath the quiet moon. And somewhere in the darkness, another beautiful morning was already waiting to begin.